In February 2023, I was creating some video samples and writing some ad scripts for Bobby Kennedy Jr. in the event he may possibly run for president. He was still deciding whether to run, but he asked me to create some visual concepts and potential written ideas to possibly work with. I had just finished writing and directing the film adaptation for his book a few months earlier, The Real Anthony Fauci, so a lot of his life and career were very fresh in my mind still. So I had a lot of ideas ruminating to muse on. So by mid-February, I delivered 5 videos and 3 scripts, which highlighted a few key moments in Bobby Kennedy's exceptional career and unique experiences throughout his life so far. Of the 8 variations that I made, one of them, a written ad script, drew on some facts from his book called Letter to Liberals, which I knew was important to Bobby because he wrote this book for his liberal friends as a way to converse about some of the hot topics from the pandemic.
We stand here in the name of freedom. The first element of this individual liberty is the freedom of speech.
James Madison, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson all said the same thing. We put freedom of speech in the First Amendment because all of the other rights that we were trying to protect relied on that right.
The right to express and communicate ideas. The right to recall governments to their duties and to their obligations.
If you give government the license to silence its critics, you have given them the capacity to obliterate all the amendments and rights of the Constitution.
Therefore, the enlargement of liberty for individual human beings must be the supreme goal and the abiding practice of any Western society.
This footage of people from all walks of life came from a fellow at CHD. So I utilized her footage as placeholder for my visual concepts here. I've always been turned off by the stark polarization in politics, and in fact, this is one of the great things about Bobby Kennedy's outspoken presence during the past few years during the pandemic. His stance for vaccine safety appeals to everyone and anyone, no matter what your political party. My thought was, first I wanted to create a soundscape, a sound design of the landscape of America. This would reflect Bobby's decades-long environmental advocacy work, both orally and visually, kind of poetic, quiet, but doing it this way, it would stand out as something different.
We are here for one reason. We love the United States of America. We love our Purple Mountains majesty, the landscapes that form the basis for this country.
He has often gone by the beat of his own drummer, against the grain, very grassroots in many ways as well. So in the name of freedom and freedom of expression, I suppose I took a risk in putting a sort of artistic thing into it, but I think it was appropriate.
We have witnessed a coup d'etat against democracy.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission.
For the written ad scripts, there were more visual concepts and ideas that I implemented here that I could build upon. I simply transcribed his own words from several archived interviews and speeches that I found, with the thought that he could riff off of them. There are so many video interviews and speeches of him that I just simply located some footage and I chose sound bites that I thought were really excellent.
The easiest thing for a political leader to do is to appeal to all the alchemies of demagoguery, our fear, our anger, our bigotry, our hatred, our xenophobia, and greed. And that the much harder thing to do, which was what my father was trying to do, was to get people to see themselves as part of a community.
So these served as placeholders because he would, of course, make any statements directly to the camera, to the people. But for now, they were voiceovers. He did end up utilizing some of my suggestions as a springboard. They were his own words after all, but he took them to another level, always coming from an authentic place when he speaks. I had made comparisons to his father and his uncle, which was quite easy to do in terms of standing strong in the face of adversity and in bringing people together. Here I found one of the most powerful and heartfelt speeches given by his father when Martin Luther King Jr. died.
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another, feeling of justice toward those who still suffer.
They did use this soundbite in the final cut of Bobby's campaign video a couple of months later, when it was decided that he would run. I was glad to see it there, especially in its rawness, the dark, shaky camera footage, the less than ideal audio. It speaks to the authenticity of it all, in honoring the loss of another very special man who also tried to heal the divide. I remember when Obama was running for president for the first time over a decade ago, there was something so magnetizing about his campaign then. His ability to inspire and fill his audiences with hope for a future that could unify the people of this country. His slogan was, "Yes, we can."
It was a creed written into the founding documents that declared the destiny of a nation. Yes, we can.
For me, Bobby was the best real glimmer of hope to bring together the people of this country today. So my thought was to bring in this sort of response to "Yes, we can," as "we can too," or "so can we," something along those lines. No matter how many times Bobby Kennedy Jr. has been slandered or censored or silenced, it never stopped him from pursuing the truth and sharing that truth with the people. He always stood firm. So the idea was we can too stand firm in unity with him, a sort of mutual elevation and just bonding together. I didn't know if it could work, but I was stuck on this idea that the secret to why Obama's campaign was so successful was because it tapped into the feeling of togetherness, of unity, solidarity, and really what that is love. I think that's what his father was saying decades ago, that love is the single most important ingredient in bringing people together to heal the divide in our nation.
But is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another,